Welcome, Star Wars fans. Here we talk about all things Star Wars with rumors, facts, news, and random shenanigans. Get ready and strap into your Millennium Falcon. This is the Force Choke Podcast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 59 of the Force Choke Podcast. We are the Council. I'm Sarah.
I'm Tim.
I'm Lewis.
And I'm Micah.
I thought you were Stephanie.
The striker.
Are you Stephanie?
Sometimes, you know, today I'll be Rebecca.
Oh, okay.
What's up, Bex?
Micah the striker.
Hey, Becky.
Well,
All right. Well, that was
Sarah,
fun.
kick us off. Well, you
all right.
kicked us off.
I did kick us off.
We need to get into meat.
Oh, okay.
Well, that sounds like Tim's section.
Oh,
Okay.
bada boom, bada bing.
what's
Has
the
anybody
meat?
filled your
What's the
mouth flat,
tea?
Tim?
Oh, God.
There's no meat or Tim.
We got
There is
meat, we got tea.
Ew.
Let's get it all out
Where
there.
are my sides at?
We got Owen McGregor coming out.
God, where's the gravy?
Oh, God, stop. Where's the gravy?
This episode hasn't even been on for 60 seconds.
I
It's
know.
already a shit show.
It's quality entertainment.
Yes.
I agree.
Whoa.
Sarah, what are we talking about first?
The
Boom.
We're
video
talking about
resolution is
D&D
quality.
and not Dungeons
David
and
and Dan.
Dragons.
I thought you were going to say D&D and not the Nazis. I was like,
Oh, gosh.
no.
Well.
Nope, not going there today. So they are not doing their Star Wars trilogy anymore.
Who is D&D for everybody that doesn't know?
They are David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. I know, I always
Weiss?
get
there's a
yelled
reason
at.
for I was thinking she had a German.
I always get
thing.
yelled at for saying it wrong. So
David and Dan.
DB, David and Dan.
Who you also do? You did tell me it's me?
You get mad at me.
My bad.
Yeah. It's
Well, they
not
did the,
wise, it's vice.
They did the Game of Thrones
They
series.
did do the Game of Thrones series, and they did a very good job.
And then Kathleen
Up until
Kennedy
the last
was
couple
like,
episodes.
come to me.
No, I loved it. Yes. Yes.
Until they left the Starbucks cup in the...
Oh, God.
That's when
loved
it
it.
was like,
I still
all right,
loved it.
you're not paying attention.
It seems like it puts it to shame now too, right? Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, let's hurry this up, Game of Thrones, so we can go to Star
Star
Wars.
Wars.
And then now they're not gonna do Star Wars. Like, you animals, man.
Yeah,
Right.
because the reason why they said
So unsophisticated. I'm sorry.
was because their schedule was full.
What?
Their schedule, the reason why they canceled the Star Wars bit that they wanted to do was because their schedule was full.
I thought it was because Netflix said,
Even more money to them? That could be.
Wait, it's
All
all
right, yeah.
Netflix.
Both. Give me both.
But no, seriously, like, well, who had, I guess, the arrangement first? Do we know that? Like,
that I'm not too sure.
They were. I remember them being happy that they were on board with Disney. That we're gonna work. We're gonna do the Star Wars trilogy.
In
They didn't say
2023, right?
2022 or 23. Yeah,
Right around
Didn't say
there.
anything what it was. Just like we're gonna do a trilogy. Happy about it. And then they come out a few days ago, saying that they're canceling the thing.
I know, but what I'm saying is that they already have this arrangement in place with Netflix.
That's a good question. I'm not too sure.
Because I'm not trying to essentially attack what you're saying, but
Yeah.
what I'm saying is it kind of sounds like they had
They had that.
they had engagements between a couple
Netflix
people, sure,
before.
but it's just kind of off-putting, especially if you have a thing that's not slated for almost 4 years.
Do we know what it is? It's not Star Wars.
Netflix.
Netflix.
No.
So it's not.
I think it's
mean,
just
it's not Star
writing
Wars
for
on Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah, they would have.
It's it will the 9-figure deal will allow them to develop new stories for the streaming giant. 9 figures.
So
Hopefully they
it's
have-
probably original story.
Hopefully, it has source material for this one though,
Ouch.
with an ending. Come on, boys.
Tim liked the ending. So
Yeah, but he's like one.
I agreed with the indie. Mm-hmm. Say that.
So much to the point. You
Well, we've already
defended it.
talked about
Well, for
endings.
for many
how
seasons,
we all feel about it.
yeah, we were. Well, I was like, brand this, brand that. He's capable of this. He's capable of that. His story can be so much bigger because what he's capable of. I was always talking about brand, not right up until the end.
Tim, that's true. I'll attest to
So we're
that.
talking about a lot of people, man.
Yeah, but Bran was the one,
But
and he became a king.
Hey,
And
this is not
so-
a Game of Thrones
The king.
podcast.
so
We're talking about D&D.
I'll tell you what though. Sarah brings up a good point. We have talked about endings before on this show.
Happy endings.
Happy
sad
endings. Sad endings.
Endings we would want.
Do we think that this is going to be the end of D&D's marriage to Star Wars? Or do we think they're going to come back at some point after they're done with whatever it is for Netflix? Or is Disney and Kathleen Kennedy going to be like, you chose Netflix? Bye. Go be with them.
They'll be back because by then Kathleen Kennedy might not be there. It'll be probably Dave Filoni as president, as the head of it.
What do you think, Micah?
I don't know. It's hard to make predictions.
Yeah, I
give them a bigger picture.
If they're not available for something, and essentially, I know they would have to start doing things relatively soon, but something that wasn't slated for 4 years, which means what are they going to be good for? A project that's slated in 6 years and 8 years away, and kind of seeing like the real political, responses they were giving. Even Kathleen Kennedy, like, oh, we want them to go ahead and take care of this kind of thing, but it's like. Did they see the conflict and they said we want someone that's 100% in, or
they're still open
or is
back.
it something to the effect of they didn't like the idea that the D&D brought together, kind of like the original directors of Han Solo, and instead of saying like this might work, this might not work, says go take care of this and maybe we can bring those thoughts back in at a later date. So I don't know. It's just kind of hard to really say that. Because obviously they're a huge caliber, and I don't personally know any of their work from original material, but they knocked it out of the park with Game of Thrones. Yes, I think they botched the ending. Whether it was the last episode, the last couple episodes, looking at Game of Thrones is still one of my favorite series because I was defending it until the very end, and I'll still even defend it to an extent. I just think, like I said, I think they botched that ending. But still, to hear like if they came back in 7 years or a decade later on saying like, okay, these guys are finally back and they're for sure going to do something, I'm going to be happy about that. I'm not going to be hesitant. Shorter than screwing the Netflix thing up,
Right, and we don't know what the Netflix thing is going to be.
No, we don't.
Right? Could be original content. Could be from a manga. Could be from just a novel. Who knows? We don't even know if it's going to be a series of movies or if it's going to be like a series, like a show.
I'd imagine it has to be a show. It just seems like the direction Netflix has taken. Like all the money that they're putting into those huge budget films and it wasn't producing. Like the one we saw, Triple Frontier.
Yeah.
I thought it was great, but you could tell they
threw
threw a lot of money into that. But they weren't getting back the numbers they suspected that they were going to, and that was a problem for them.
Yeah. Well, Sarah, you're kind of scouring through that article there. Have you seen anything that kind of pops out at you?
Well, I was looking to see if they had completely backed out, and I was seeing when the date was on this because it made it seem like that they hadn't. But this is from August, so they're completely out.
Oh, they're completely out.
That's what I'm understanding.
So it's like
Did
the
Lewis
hokey
set you up to
pokey.
fail and get you an old article?
It is an old article,
Kathleen
Lewis set you up
Kathleen left the door open and said they're welcome to come back.
And that's what, because we were kind of like brainstorming on that, and
Be happy for
when
them to come back.
Lewis brought that up,
And not more, they're more than welcome. Like they want them to come back. Is what they said.
They can't be mad that they kind of chased more money. But it's kind of like, well, whenever
But isn't
you're
it
ready.
kind of like weird that Netflix was able to outbid Disney?
They want to win.
If that's
I don't think it's weird.
no. Like Disney was like,
I think it's kind
okay.
of maybe strategic. If they put out something good, it's kind of strategic on their part.
that's why I thought it might have been more so to do with like maybe that wasn't exactly the direction. No, I don't want to say the direction, but if they're hesitant about something and they need like this new stuff to almost be like passion projects. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to just like give the allocated time for what I'm being paid for. Like, no, I want you to, breathe and sleep this.
Yeah.
Because again, like I know I've said it in the past, with them needing to, knock episode 9 out of the park, but like going forward, they really need to put some good stuff together to show that Disney can stand on, and not to say that it couldn't, but Disney can stand on its own, bringing new Star Wars content, and it's not just simply off the whimlings of George Lucas's vision of 1 through 9.
That's actually a really good point, Micah, because right now Star Wars it stands on its own with the original with the when I say episode 1 through now going to be episode 9, it can stand on its own as a pillar.
Yeah.
But can new characters that get introduced, can they stand on their own to continue this story, or a different story on, for generations to come is going to be, something to be seen.
So it'd be really telling, because I think the first movie that we'll get, despite the hiatus, will be Rian Johnson's new trilogy.
And he's not.
And he's kind of the one. Like I said, I'm not trying to fault him for this. We've going back, like, it's still Star Wars. We still love it.
Rian Johnson, who did The Last Jedi.
Yeah, like Rian Johnson, who did Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Like, I think he went in a different direction than some of us anticipated, so it put some of us off. He seems like a great director with some of the other work that he's done. To presume, if he has his own thing and you're not expecting something in a certain direction or a certain light, that maybe he will do great for it. So it's just weird, though, because, like, speaking about the cinematic movies, he's really the first of many to come to see where Disney can stand alone on its own movies. And I'm not talking about TV shows on Disney Plus, but the really technically the first movie, short of it changing, to show Disney's own new line of Star Wars movies will be the guy who put things into question as of right now. It just seems a bit ironic.
It is. And are you okay with that, Sarah? Rian Johnson now is going to helm the next Star Wars movie after Episode 9.
We'll see what happens.
The guy that put the house on the fire. Hey, I got the hose. I'll take care of this job. You know what I mean?
What's in that hose? What's in there?
Vodka.
What do you think, Tim? I mean,
as long as I think he's good. I think as long as he pays attention to him and his team pay attention to details, like that fight scene. And it was crap.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody was hyped about, but it was like, you go back and watch that, and it's like, why did he?
there
was so much.
I was watching
wrong about it.
You're right, Tim. But at the same time,
can't be a compliment if it's not a backhanded compliment. Okay, go ahead.
So I was watching Episode 9 about 2-8. No, not Episode 9. Episode 8, The Last Jedi, a couple weeks ago on TV there, and I was waiting till that scene that you're talking about, the Praetorian Guards versus Rey and Kylo Ren, came out. And when I was watching it regular speed, I was like, you can't see it, you can't catch those things. But when you slow it down, like frame by frame by frame, I'm sure that if you do that in The Phantom Menace, you'll find that too. You know what I mean? Maybe not as bad, but you can see stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Well, they did a comparison, Phantom Menace and The Last Jedi. I think I saw the comparison on Instagram. One of those, like, where you can post a video, and it was like a 5-minute video. I was watching it, and I could not find any mistakes with the Phantom Menace. Like, they did a pretty good job, man.
Yeah. And I think
then you see like the dings on all the other ones.
I think what we have to attest that to is that the time of the Jedi and the Sith then was at its peak. And the time that we're at now, Mike has brought this up. Who did Darth Vader have to fight? Who did Luke have to fight? Who did, Palpatine have to fight? Nobody. So the skills really weren't, they're vastly diminished, depending upon who they're having to fight. You know what I mean? So I think they did that almost on purpose. Some of the stuff, like they say, they took out digitally a weapon here or there. Of course, that's, if you want to call that a mistake. But at the same time, they're fighting kind of raw. You know what I mean? They don't have a lot of training. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. What do you think, Michael?
I thought it was a weird way of dropping my previous message in that. No. It comes down to it because I know I've made the point about watching the movie The Happening and seeing the audio mic come in.
Yeah.
Like, it comes down to, like, I know the point that you're trying to bring home, Lewis, but I have to side with Tim on this aspect. That, it comes down to it's sloppy work. You know, like it's one thing if you choreograph a fight style that is very much raw and not really refined. I get that, and I even appreciate that maybe more so than the latter. But the whole notion is that we're gonna digitally remove something, and I think that's what fans were complaining about more so. Yeah. Because again, that's sloppy work, that's sloppy editing, that's sloppy direction, and ultimately it will fall on Rian Johnson for that. Yeah. Kind of like the same reasons that we'll fault Game of Thrones cats. Yeah. Or the Starbucks thing here, and Jamie Lannister's hand here, and so on and so forth. Like, it's one thing if you want to put out a particular thing on screen, but after it goes through so many eyes of editing and such, and this is your final product. Not just one person screwed up, a whole slew of people screwed up. Therefore, the direction, the person who was supposed to be in charge of all these other people messed up. So it has to, in some sense, put that person in question.
I'm going to ask Sarah directly.
Okay.
Sarah, have you seen what they're talking about?
No.
The digital removing of weapons and stuff like that. You haven't seen it?
I've only seen The Last Jedi in theater.
Right.
I know,
and so
I have it.
So
I own it.
Star Wars podcast for Star Wars fans.
You know what, Micah?
Let me ask you. If you hadn't heard what they're talking about or what we're talking about, would you have noticed that there was weapons removed at certain points in that fight?
I mean, maybe if I rewatched it at home. Because, again, like we've talked about it before. Like, you're in the theater.
I've watched it 9 times. And this time, I actually was looking for that, and I couldn't see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
And I don't think that's the problem, but I think just the fact is that you see it now, and it's almost.
But that's the thing. I couldn't tell at regular speed, and the point I think that I'm getting at is that fans I don't know. There may be people, and I'm sure there are, that literally take this frame by frame by frame.
Well, because starting Easter eggs.
Yeah, starting from the crawl. You know what I mean?
Okay, but that's the directors and the editor's job. Like, they're supposed to go frame by frame and this passes. This is gonna work. We should put this in the movie.
Do you think that
we're gonna have to reshoot this? That's not good. That's their job to do that.
Do you think that they got to a point where they were like, this fight scene was really good, let's just digitally remove it, nobody can tell, and then we'll put it out there? Because they did a great cut scene. This cut was really great.
Yeah, but it goes.
I don't know. What do you think?
It goes to show where it's like it can look good, and you can watch it so many times, and it's possible you don't catch it. But now that you know, it diminishes it almost. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sure, it took someone looking at this thing frame by frame. And maybe this person had bad intent. I want to find something that I can moan and bitch and complain about. Yeah. But the fact is that they did it. The fact is that the director still left it in, whether they knew about it or they're too stupid to not know about it.
Didn't go after
now it's almost like we've been duped, because it's like you're telling us you went through this whole crazy thing, you choreographed this thing down to the detail, and you allowed this, you kept that,
to go
you didn't do this. Yeah. Yeah, sure, you can watch it. And honestly, I don't think I caught it until somebody mentioned it. And then either I had to go back and look at it, at a slower rate, or someone had put up a slower version of it so I could see it. But now,
it's for
despite
kids.
you seeing, oh God,
say that again, Tim. I couldn't hear it.
What did you say? Hold on before you get to your slight, Tim. You don't have to, now knowing this after the fact, you don't have to be able to watch it and still not appreciate. I'm not saying you can't watch it and not appreciate it, but what I am saying is now you're going to thinking fuck, what else did they mess up? You can't appreciate it anymore because you know that they did this because they didn't choreograph this right, or they just didn't edit it very well. You're going to be thinking that now instead of just being able to appreciate holy shit, this is a crazy massive scene.
Yeah. So you said it's for kids, Tim?
Because they won't notice.
That was part of the conversation.
I'm a kid.
Freddie Prinze said. The originals were fucking kids. And then the previous 3 episodes, those are also for kids, but different fucking kids. These are all for fucking kids too.
So Sarah, what do you think about that exchange? I mean, it's Throw it out there. I mean, all of us have our own opinions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no opinion is wrong.
Yeah.
No, well, I mean, I think all of them, of course, are going to be geared towards kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you've had the generations that have grown up with them, and they're gonna like it brings out the inner kid in you. I'm not making much sense, but what I'm saying is, it's for everybody. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the target audience is gonna be kids.
And so, with that, are you okay with these editing errors?
Well, okay. And again, I don't know all of the background. I'll look it up later.
The kid was probably the first one I saw too, though.
Huh?
Just playing. Yeah, I'm talking about editing error.
Oh, but I mean, they are getting paid a lot of money to be doing these things, and how many people look at it and okay it, and then it goes to the director, and then it goes to the Disney executives. So why did nobody catch it before?
See, I'm thinking they caught it.
And they were just like, it would take too much money to reshoot, so we're just gonna.
We can't reshoot this, or we're not gonna reshoot this.
Yeah.
I'm bet you.
That's
what somebody
suggested.
suggested.
But
then maybe
that's almost even worse.
Is it continuous through the scene, or is it just one little portion?
It didn't have much. It didn't have anything to do with the plot, so they're like, okay, it passes.
Yeah. It's a maneuver that was it when they put Rey in a chokehold? It was one of the Praetorian Guard, and they took out was it like a dagger kind of thing?
He had a dagger in his left hand. He could have easily just wiped this way, cut her throat, because she was in a hole.
Yeah.
Right. And she
then
left herself. She left herself wide open on one end with the arm.
And then when you go, and then the next frame for that, or the next portion of that fight, when Rey goes to essentially kill him, that weapon's no longer there. And
he dropped it. I'm just kidding, but
no,
I'm joking.
But no, I know. But I'm just saying, for that case, I'm sure they shot a lot of different variations, a lot of different things for that fight to the point.
I don't think so.
Okay, well then you shouldn't have put that then.
But if they're going to make it a key element and part of the scene, it should be continuous through the rest of it.
Yeah.
If you're going to cause so much emphasis on this one thing, and then you're going to forget it later.
But that entire fight wasn't one continuous thing, though. It was a compilation of shots, so it's not.
No, I know, but
it was
if you're using
there's also
this
a hesitation,
portion,
right, for another move. It was like a spin move. They turned their back towards the enemy, and the enemy's just still standing there, waiting for them to turn back around, and then they could hit them. They could have just hit them in the back right there.
So what this all boils down to is, are y'all okay with Rian Johnson being the first one to helm the next Star Wars after Episode 9? Are y'all nervous? Like you said, these other movies can stand on their own, Micah.
Yeah.
And this guy that we're talking about is going to start a new Star Wars trilogy or saga. Do you think?
I know, I was the first one to say it, bitch.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what we're coming back to.
No.
That's what we're coming back to.
I don't think it's ideal, but I think it just acknowledges the presence that Disney is almost as if Disney put themselves in a tighter spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have, they want to, I don't want to say they want to alleviate pressure, but they want to make money. They want to put out something good. They want to put out something that people will continue to watch and to buy and to be, reinvested in by going to the next film, whether it's the same trilogy or another offset trilogy in the Star Wars context. And it's why would you put that extra pressure on you?
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough too because, I think a lot of fans were, it's kind of a little roller coaster, you know what I mean? Hey, we got JJ back, you know what I mean? Oh, but it's the last Star Wars, Skywalker.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting D&D. Oh, they
just
left.
kidding.
We have the guy who messed up the series for you.
Oh, God, that's a loop.
Is he gone? Is he gone? Oh, no, he still has his 3. But the Mandalorian's going to be great.
Yes!
Everyone rejoice.
Right. Oh, but it only comes out once a week. Oh!
That almost seems like it brings an extra factor into it. Cause
True.
It's kind of not only are they putting faith and trust into someone else who I guess put a question mark for some or a lot of fans, but it's kind of and you had these guys back out and these people aren't doing this. It's kind of are the Star Wars movies going to be okay?
Yeah.
You know, despite there being a huge break.
And maybe they decided with D&D that since The Mandalorian is coming out and we got Cassian Andor on the heels of that and an Obi-Wan series after that, they're kind of like, okay, this will give us some time. Fans will be satisfied, if not satisfied, rejoicing over these
They'll
streamings.
Be busy.
Yeah, that maybe when we get D&D back, they're going to be really cheering for what they can bring to us. Possibly. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, and not to mention that people are going to comment, you know, like, well, I say it's the first movie of Disney's Star Wars to stand on its own, but I don't think some people may see it that way. Maybe those who choose to pick at it will see it that way. But I don't think it'll necessarily be the case. I know I brought that up as an original idea, but it's hard to ignore, especially if the Mandalorian is as much as what we think it is. It's hard to ignore familiar characters now getting their own series, and especially if they do really well with those shows, Cassian Andor and Obi-Wan. They're not going to be thinking like, oh, you fucked up episode 8. They're going to be like, okay, everything in the last couple years you've shown me is great, you know, do it for this movie.
Maybe it'll feel like you felt for The Phantom Menace. Like, Star Wars is back.
Are you saying The Phantom Menace is not good?
No.
Oh, okay.
Because there was a hiatus, you know what I mean? Same thing for The Force Awakens. Oh, Star Wars is back in theaters. You know what I mean?
I just know I know a lot of people that will give shit to the prequels, and then the movie fanboys, they're standing in line at the very end because they're waiting for episode 1 to come back, and because their friend just passed and he watched it before he had passed because they're trying to steal it from Skywalker Ranch, and he saw like an unedited version for it, and so like the ending of that movie is kind of like they're standing in line waiting for episode 1. They're like, hey man, but what if it sucks? Which, you know, brings home a lot of things for people who especially don't like the prequels.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of...
Well, on the heels of D&D exiting Star Wars, I heard a little bit about what their trilogy could or was thinking might have been, which was the origin of the Jedi is what they were going to focus on. Not
For D&D?
Not the Knights of the Old Republic, but more of an origin of the Jedi. Back when they were called Jedi. Jedhii. So around that time of the Star Wars universe.
Hey guys, it's Jed.
So that's what, apparently from blurbs, that's what their trilogy saga was going to be about. So how does that make y'all feel? We were thinking Old Republic, now we're hearing no.
Jedi. That would be
Origins of the
cool.
Jedi. What do you think, Tim?
Better fight scenes because what they did at Game of Thrones. I didn't see that much mistakes with their fight scenes.
I don't know, it'd be interesting, but I mean, how would those fight scenes be?
So Sir Alistair Dane with 2 swords against 4 guys?
No. What I'm telling you is I'm saying is what would it look like?
Dane.
I'm asking what would it look like? Before they were Jedi, were there necessarily lightsabers?
Well, I think there were, and I've seen some, it almost looks like a steampunk style, where they had to wear like a belt, and connected to the belt is a power source, and connected to that from a wire to the Jedi hilt, that's where the saber would. So you're actually fighting with a connection to that power supply.
No, I got you, but that's what I'm saying is I'm just curious how it would look like in that context, trying to do the movie. Like, if you had someone sword fighting today, it's going to resemble that, you know, back in the ancient days, you know.
Yeah.
Swords themselves haven't had exactly huge technological advance when you're talking about... I'm not trying to downplay, you know, what advance they may have had, but a sword... In this, a sword is a sword. A sword than a lightsaber. That's a huge ass difference.
Just the material that you made it out of.
Right, like, or if you had armies, you know... okay, you have armies of guys sitting there with swords, and then now it's like, okay, well, we got rifles.
They're gonna have
that's what I mean. Like, I'm just curious.
Like the light sword where they're fencing. The one hand hold and they're like, their fists, their hip, and they're just fighting.
Could be
something like that.
So that's all I mean in that is I'm just curious how it would look.
Yeah. I think it'd look pretty interesting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What would they
fight
have?
you with my fanny pack.
I am not left-handed.
Wow. Another audio clip to hold on to.
Oh my god.
Do some was it Adobe Paint or something? Make put Sarah's face on there. No. Let me fight you with my fanny pack. Thank you, Sarah. The gift that keeps on giving.
You're looking for makeup in the fanny pack.
I go, wait. Okay, let me plug it in. Are you ready? Okay, you're still doing this?
Not in the face. Not in the face.
No, yeah.
Anything from here to here
there are
to
rules.
here.
No arms.
I need my arms.
Yeah.
Tis but a scratch.
Well,
about that.
I mean,
It seems like an interesting concept, though. If that were to be the case.
And I think if anybody's going to do it, they're going to do it really well.
Yeah. I agree.
If they still do it.
If they still do it.
When they still do it.
You think it's a win? No. And if?
I like I said, I don't know. I was just joking.
Bold prediction? What do you think?
Give it 5 years.
Bold prediction, don't hold your breath.
Okay. Fair enough. Tim?
For Rian Johnson?
No.
D&D?
Coming back to do either this trilogy about origins.
Bold prediction, if they fail Netflix, they're not going to do Star Wars.
Ooh, maybe that was the caveat from Kathleen Kennedy. Hey, you do your Netflix thing, and it does great.
Bye.
Come back. And if it's not, bye-bye.
But I mean, I think kind of like what you mentioned at the very beginning, the top of the podcast, Tim, to allow Disney, to allow Lucasfilm, to allow Star Wars to be able to slide on these guys, if it wasn't for creative, suggestions, like creative differences for them to go away, if it was just simply because Netflix was able to snipe them away, then that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And Netflix is showing that whatever they do, if they do it well, that there's no way they're going to, allow them to walk away, especially with the idea is, okay, Disney Plus is going to be coming out here in a couple weeks. How much is this really going to hurt us?
Yeah, true.
Because the money they've been bleeding, and I know you brought it up, it's like it's only 5% or 4%, whatever it was, but it's like, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, and just having this juggernaut, this giant introduced into the streaming, world.
I'm sure it cost them some money.
Yeah.
Put that together.
It's almost like, I'm not saying that this is their Hail Mary, because, I mean, they have some good shows on their own, but it's almost like we need something to bring people back. And I think, too, you do have fans of Game of Thrones that's like they enjoy or they accepted the ending, but then you have quite a few. It's kind of like, this is what you're going to give us? And this is Netflix trying to, ensure that they have quality content? Like,
they did the Jon Snow.
Don't. Please don't.
But that's George R.R. Martin, too. Like, that's him to do that.
Wow. Incredible.
I was just surprised they're giving Rian Johnson a trilogy, too, because the boycott after his movie to not watch Solo, and then Solo bombed because of that. How bad
that was directly affected.
The bad taste that people got from Last Jedi.
Well, and I think that's part of the notion too, is because they gave him that. I don't think it was that far after The Last Jedi was even released, But there had been rumors circulating, and they could be BS rumors, but there have been rumors circulating a couple times about like Rian Johnson's no longer having his own trilogy.
Yeah, and then he comes out and is like,
He's
no,
like,
I'm still doing
what
it.
are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that happened a couple times, and now that D&D are essentially walking away, and it's like, and you don't have anyone slated for this new stuff that's supposed to be superior. It's kind of like, could they even walk away from Rian Johnson at this point if they wanted to?
True.
Could you have D&D walking away if you had this guy walk away?
What do you? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't get someone who had to helm 3 more movies? Because remember, that was JJ.
The hell with it. Give it to Ron Howard.
That'd be
Do it again. Do it in the movie. Yeah.
because and maybe that's what.
Han Solo's good.
I wonder,
It is good.
I wonder if that's at fault on Disney. And I say that because they wanted to give J.J. Abrams not just episode 7, but 8 and 9. Mm-hmm. And he sat there and he essentially said that, I don't want to fuck this up.
Yeah.
And after seeing how well 7 had worked out, like I remember seeing an interview, I think it was a week after it premiered, saying that he basically wished he could continue forth, but
It's too
it was too late for that.
Yeah.
And it was almost a Hail Mary pass. Who was the guy who was supposed to do episode 9? I think he was the one who did Jurassic World. I forgot his name. Alan Trevorrow or something like that.
No, it was wasn't it Edwards from Jurassic World? Godzilla?
No, I'm almost positive it was a guy who did Jurassic World.
No,
I think Micah's right.
Either way,
Yeah.
with that guy walking away, I think we got lucky in a sense.
Yeah.
And I think Lucasfilm got lucky. Knowing
get
that
Abrams
people
back.
received episode 7, even though it may not have taken those necessary leaps. Like, let me bring you something new instead of, a nice polished up, reworked version of episode 4, 5, and 6. Mm-hmm. But people like J.J. Abrams' thing, despite it not taking that huge leap.
Yeah.
I think they got lucky. We as fans and them as a company got lucky that there was a departure for episode 9 to allow him to come back. But to bring this back to the initial idea I'm saying is that, is it Disney's fault for demanding the directors to stick around for 3 movies? Because it's not like, here's a movie, let's wait 4 years, and if that one was successful, come back for another. Mm-hmm. Or it's not like, how they did Lord of the Rings, where they essentially just had this continuous shooting, and they're releasing them year after year after year. That's not how they're going to do it, or at least how they think they can make money, probably.
Yeah.
So is that too much of a demand that, hey, we want you to put better
10 years.
better half than a decade, if not a full decade on hold for us for you to be completely into this? Is that too much? Is that a high demand?
It is a high demand
price to pay.
I think it is for a director, in my opinion, because really, you're asking to put your family on hold. You're gonna be away from them for years at a stretch, not just with the directing, but like we just talked about, editing and making sure everything's falling into place. That is tough, I would assume. That's really there's no vacation, because you're looking at, okay, where are we going to go for the next location? Is this going to be in a studio? Is it going to be on location, somewhere? You know what I mean? Then, the things that come with the problems with that, you know what I mean? So putting teams together, digital teams, practical set teams, and in my opinion, that's asking quite a lot. Yeah. I don't know about you guys. What do you think, Tim?
Look at that.
I'm sorry, I had my mind. I was thinking about something else.
Oh man!
What are you thinking about?
I was like, man, look at that. Tim's really.
No, I was thinking about.
He's getting into it. I'm sorry. What were we talking
I was
about?
thinking about D&D's job, how well they did with Game of Thrones, and then all their bad stuff. And
Well, that's the same thing, right? They dedicated almost a decade, which factors into what we're talking about. They dedicated just about a decade of time to Game of Thrones. Is that too much to ask from a studio to ask of writers or directors of a movie series or television series?
It's too much to ask for. I think for a pair like D&D, I don't think it's too much to ask for. They're doing their job. I think they understand and doing it at a high level, like what their job is. It wasn't their fault. The reason why that abrupt end happened, not so well, is because everybody wanted everybody besides them wanted it to be over with because like they have lives too, and like they want to do other movies.
Actresses.
Like now they've gotten so big, they've got all this work they can do, and so they're excited, ready to leave and do all these movies like Sansa with X-Men, right, and then Daenerys with Star Wars.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't think the mic picked it up. What was that?
No, what? The X-Men?
Well, she was head of the Dark Phoenix. That's a big character, and they shouldn't have done that movie for that.
Yeah, because they had her done it twice before. So.
Anyway, yeah, D&D for 10 years on Star Wars. As long as everybody's down for it.
Actors, actresses, everybody.
Yeah.
Sarah, you kind of look like...
Well, I mean, like, isn't that part of the job description, though, when you decide you want to be a director? I don't know about, like, how that works, but isn't that part of it? Like, you know you're going to have to commit this certain amount of time.
You're going to have to sign a contract for a certain amount of years.
Yeah.
And you know what comes along with that, right?
Yeah.
Well, talk to us.
Are you going to be in a movie? What's going on?
Yeah, oh my God, I'm going to be in a movie. No.
But, like, kids don't. Like, Arya and Bran, they were young. And Sansa, like, they were...
Well, and that's
they know
one
what they're getting
thing.
into.
That's one thing, but I mean, we're strictly talking about directors, though. Like, they chose to be in this profession, in this field, so that's part of the job.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are going to be breaks
they're mature enough to know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think it's too much to ask for somebody to commit to a 3-year or 3-movie, however many year contract. But be upfront with it, like, hey, this is what we want, and I'm pretty sure Disney has been doing that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Would you guys think it would be better if they did like, well, you mentioned Lord of the Rings, Micah. Peter Jackson did 3 movies, and I think it was 7 years. Which it was like a like literally at the end he said like he slept for I've watched the like behind the scenes and all that.
You had to go to the hospital, right?
Yeah, and then he had to get like
rehab,
IV injections and drips, and he like literally said he slept for almost 2.5 weeks.
Wow,
because of
that's pretty.
But look what he brought us.
Yeah,
that's epic.
Yeah,
epic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still supremely high cost, though, man.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone can do that.
No.
Not everyone could have done
that.
Do you think
it's fair, Tim? Micah, can you answer your own question? Like, because that's a really good question. Do you think it's fair? Or do you think maybe every movie should have a different director?
I think you should do what you signed to do.
They did with the original trilogy.
Having said that, it's a huge demand. That is a huge demand, and some people may be cut out for it, but sometimes like, fuck, man, I need a break.
Yeah,
and I get what you're saying, Sarah, and I get what you were saying, Tim. Like, I say some of the younger actor and actresses, they essentially had that choice made for them because they were so young. But I think if we look at the time that an actor or an actress spends versus the time a director spends, it is largely misbalanced. And a director, like, an actor, don't get me wrong, like an actor can spend so much time, say if they need to, either lose weight, or in this case for Christian Bale, put on weight and then lose weight again for a role. Like, it's one thing, the extracurricular things they do to prepare for a role and then learning the lines for the role, but then executing that role on screen, they're done almost. Like, there might be reshoots, but a director from the initial inception till even after this thing has already come out, even with the commentary that they do for all the extra special features and potentially the idea of bringing out another sequel, it's like they're living and breathing that. I'm not talking about an actor and actress, I'm talking about the director. How much more time are they putting on it, even just looking at it from this start date on the calendar to say a year later, but also what is constituted in that day. I think a director's putting down so much more.
Dedicated.
It's a huge thing where I almost think Disney expecting them to sign on for 3 years. I'm kind of in the camp where it's too much. Yes, a director wants to do these things and they have different ideas and different projects and stuff. But it's one thing to say, like for Rian Johnson, he did episode 8, and then he got to do his own project with Knives Out that's coming out, I think, in a month.
It actually looks fantastic.
And it looks really great. Yeah.
Have you seen the trailers for Knives Out? It looks really good.
Exactly, but if you look at what they're doing, it may seem monotonous, but the idea that it's different ideas, different projects that they're probably working on, at least that is different. Mm-hmm. But if you're like, hey, you can love Star Wars, but if you have to live and breathe Star Wars for this certain amount of time, I know fans are going to be like, well, of course we can do it, but these directors are expected to produce something. We're not talking about enjoying it. We're talking about, I got to flip this thing around and make sure that it works.
Maybe.
Every little scene. Like, I'll put this editing problem with that fight scene on Rian Johnson. It comes down to him as his being his fault. But the idea of just having to do everything, it's a huge, 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 huge task. And you're asking to do that not just for one film, but a trilogy within a short time frame. Mm-hmm. You said it yourself, Peter Jackson was in the hospital for some amount of time. Mm-hmm. You rehab, sleeping and stuff. How many people can even do that, much less do it great?
Dude, it sounds like freaking... Who was the running back for Seattle? Put the team on
Beast
your
mode?
back.
Beast mode?
Yeah.
Marshawn Lynch?
You gotta put him on your back.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Get off me, pussy.
Oh, God.
Shut up, Drew Brees. Oh, man, that whole video. I gotta put a link in the description for that video.
I went over him over and over and over and over.
But
I've never seen so much determination.
Jesus.
Well, we're going to move on to our next topic. I think it's time. But before we do, Sarah, have you seen the new Mandalorian trailer?
Oh, no.
If you haven't, now's a great time.
Okay.
Maybe you can raise the voice on your screen so this can pick it up, and then we can get another reaction video.
Oh man.
Sarah watching the Mandalorian.
How the hell you put me in that shot? Move it, fool.
No, just get over.
I will throw my phone at your phone and cause that phone to drop.
No, don't do that.
Okay, fine. I'll throw my mouse at it.
Okay, you can do that.
That's cheaper.
Yeah, you have a nice phone.
Did you comment on it?
No, just a couple of waves.
Well, wave back.
I did.
Hello. Oh, it's the same one. Hang on.
Why don't you just go to YouTube, sir?
There.
What was that?
You shake your phone.
Etch a sketch?
You hate your phone.
Start over!
But
I mean, well, Sarah's doing that. I mean,
It's butter.
Maybe D&D was kind of like, man, we just spent 10 years. Do we want to spend another 10?
We're not ready for another 10.
Maybe
our schedule is full. Let's make something up.
Maybe
That is definitely not the Mandalorian.
But that's what they said, word for word. The schedule is full.
Yeah. You got it, Sarah?
I think so. No, that's the same one. Does it start out the same?
Yes.
It does start out the same?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Basically.
Yeah. They just added extras.
This is...
Oh, okay.
It is a shame that your people suffered.
Jesus, woman.
He said turn it up.
Not that long.
It's up. Ooh.
But bounty hunting is a complicated profession.
See, so is directing. Directing is a complicated profession. Sometimes you go to the hospital.
Did you sign up for?
They said you were coming. They said you were the best in the parsec. Would you agree?
The face.
Mandalorian, look outside. They're waiting for you.
Ooh, there's a girl.
That's a sick shot right there, though.
Yeah? Good.
The comments on that YouTube video have me laughing, dude.
Talk to us a little bit about that, Tim. Sarah, so what were your initial thoughts on that? What do you think?
Well, which one? You just asked Tim?
I know.
Both.
Bill Burr.
At the same time.
We'll just talk over each other. No, I liked it.
Had that
I liked it a lot more than the
Is
first
that
one.
all you got?
And
Yeah, it's
so
good. I
nice.
liked it. I mean, it was fun, man.
Well, I don't have the Disney Plus service yet, and I haven't.
No one does.
Well, you know what I
Well,
mean. I
the
haven't signed
Netherlands
up for
does.
it
Sorry,
yet.
the Netherlands does.
I haven't signed up for it yet, so it looks nice.
Nice?
It looks nice. It looks like it's going to be pretty good. Pretty well put together. There's a lot more information in this one, obviously, yeah. But you see that kid, and I wonder if that's the kid that, like, causes the conflict. What was it?
The kid that reached out his
I
hand
had
in the trailer.
mentioned.
Yeah.
No, I had mentioned. I think that part of
kid
the trailer
causes
helps
a conflict?
in part confirm it. Was that he's given a contract
Yeah,
to
get a
round up a kid,
Yeah.
and it's kind of like,
To get a kid.
am I supposed to? Should I? Is this the right thing to do?
Yeah, it sparks up an ethical dilemma in the show.
That would
and
be
I think
really
that's
cool if that's the Easter egg. I know I've said that on this show. That what if he's doing rounding up for the First Order? Mm-hmm. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that's just me.
Not that he knows it, but
Yeah.
he's doing it inadvertently.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah, we definitely don't know exactly for that, but I know I had spoke on a previous podcast where I had read somewhere that part of the problem is obviously, he has a bounty, whether that's a person or whether that's an object he has to grab or whatever. But it seemed like one of the I think the conflict that arises in the show is that he has a bounty for a child, and he's supposed to bring them, and it's kind of like, what are you going to do with them, Or maybe it's a special kid or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I don't know if I should do this.
Yeah.
And then because we asked the question, I think it's when we were at Cosmic Comics. It's kind of like, what is right and wrong? What is morals in a lawless place with the remnants of the empire? The only thing that is left is the remnants of the empire.
Yeah.
Like, what is right? What was right in the Wild West? Well, to stay alive, really. But in that context of what is right, and so if that's the case of him getting a bounty to collect a child, he's like, what are you gonna do with him?
Yeah.
I don't like that. Well, this is a job. Okay, well, fuck off. And you have a show out of it. Yay.
Yeah.
So
So what do you think, Sarah? About the trailer, you said it was nice, but
It's
specifically,
hey,
What did you like
I just
about it?
got a car wash. Oh, that looks nice.
I like that they kind of gave more background about him, and now he has like a love interest going on, so that's gonna be something
That's interesting.
in
Take. I
there.
don't think we even discussed that.
no.
Yeah, there was like
talk to
some
us
chick
about it.
touching his helmet face.
Well, maybe that was the boy's mother. He was just happy. Ooh.
I don't
No,
think so.
she didn't touch the face like that.
It was like a,
Hey there.
yeah, I'm glad you're here.
Is this thing real?
It looked like a very
Is there someone behind
loving
this?
caress.
Hey, Nate's here.
Admiring
What's
the,
up, Nate?
the
Hey,
best
Nate.
in the parsec.
So there were some Easter eggs in that trailer.
Oh, I missed them all then.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple of ships that flew over that were circular in shape. Looked like UFOs almost. Those were from the Separatists ships from the prequels.
Return.
Episode
No.
2.
Wow, I
Episode
missed all
2.
of that.
The prequels.
Oh, those people.
Clone Wars?
Those, yeah.
Those prequels?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Is there more?
There's more prequels? What the hell?
God damn it.
And then there was actually a super battle droid.
Sorry, Super.
The guy shooting.
and a regular battle droid as well.
Yeah, well, the woman that touched his face so affectionately, as you had put, there's a scene where she's running. It looked like whatever city that they're in.
Jakku.
And there's like super battle droids right behind her, like shooting at her.
What the heck?
And then, what'd you think about Bill Burr with his Predator cannon?
Well, see, and I'm glad they put.
He probably said
this
that.
Is for Sarah.
Like, I want a
Did we watch the
Predator
same
cannon.
trailer?
I can see him here.
Yes,
I missed
but
all of that. I missed all of that.
It was real brief. It was like a second. On
Okay, hang on. I'm watching it again without sound.
They actually show Bill Burr, for this one. But I saw that scene, but that was one of the leaked ones from.
From Celebration?
Yeah, Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
And so, because like in the last one, all you see is the back of his head.
Oh, yeah.
I guess
and that Twi'lek is like, hey.
Yeah, she's looking back, you see him just kind of walking off. But that was one of the scenes that they had in that, so it was pretty neat to see that they had that on there.
Yeah. And then the gentleman who's speaking, I don't know his name or his character or whatever. He seems like
I forgot his name.
well, the one that's talking to the Mandalorian.
Oh, I see that now. I saw Bill Burr.
I saw a talking about going frame by frame by frame by frame. Somebody took a frame shot and right here on his chest, I guess he's wearing a cape or cloak or something. On his chest is an Empire emblem. So
It's Werner Herzog. Werner Herzog.
Herzog. He's wearing a Empire emblem. So maybe he's part of the remnants of the Empire as well. Maybe he'll be in odds with Giancarlo Esposito, who is still calling himself a Moff from remnants of the Empire. But that would be interesting if they were at odds with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
More conflict.
Yeah. It seems like it's going to be, from Bill Burr's words, they shot it as a spaghetti western. Mm-hmm. It seems like there's going to be chaos everywhere that the Mandalorian turns, you know what I mean? And that's really exciting, you know what I mean? This is pretty much, to me, feels like, I think at the beginning of our podcast, not this podcast, but when we begun this thing, we would have liked to see some kind of gangster underworld movie spin-off, something like that. And that's what it's
the closest to it.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. And then I wanted to ask Sarah, after she finishes with the trailer, a specific question about the trailer.
Okay.
It's going to be on Disney Plus. And we've talked about in the last podcast, you weren't able to make it, but in the last podcast, Star Wars is for kids. Always has been, always will be. Now that you've seen this trailer,
That's not for kids.
that's exactly.
not for kids.
God damn it.
That's
That's not
exactly
for
what
kids.
Micah said.
I mean, the movies, yes. The movies are kid-geared and kid-oriented.
Micah's bucking up. He's like,
But
yeah,
this is not going to be for children. Have they released a what's it called, like a target audience or whatever, like PG-13?
Parental warning? Advisory?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I don't think so.
I feel like it's going to be PG-13.
Does it say 13?
I thought I read
does.
that somewhere.
Okay.
I think you just
So-
make it shit up.
No, I seriously have read that somewhere.
Well, I mean, on
article.
every Star Wars episode.
Because, I mean, if
There's a
people
link.
are hunting other people down,
That's what I
not
was
going
going
to
to
be
ask.
for children.
That's what I was going to ask you, Sarah.
Yeah.
What in your eyes? Hold on, Micah. What in your eyes makes this not for kids?
The
Because
decapitated
it's
heads.
under
The
it's
heads
a-
at the beginning of the scene.
That too.
On
That
spikes.
too.
Okay.
And on the ground. But no, like the premise that this guy is going to be hunting other people down, in theory, or doing these tasks or whatever in like an underworld setting. There's going to be killing.
Like
I'm
Walker, Texas Ranger.
assuming. Well, that was very PG.
Very G.
That was very G. But no, like in this day and age, if you're gonna have a show with that as the premise, it's kind of gonna be gory. You can expect that to be gory, or at least a little bit, or at least killing. I don't know what constitutes PG or PG-13, or what the difference is, or what you know
you
what I
can see
mean.
the F word once in a PG-13 movie. If you say it the second time, it's automatically R.
Or so,
Well, fuck that.
but yeah, no, that's not gonna be for kids.
Interesting.
Maybe adolescents.
Adolescent. So, in your eyes,
Adolescents
kids
and higher.
10 and down, 12 and down.
Yeah, maybe they can watch like episode 1 in the other room. while this is being
the bigger boys and girls can.
Well, the big kids watch this.
Yeah. Should they have a PG-16? Do they need to make
Say what?
PG-16?
No.
Just go from 13 to R.
To R,
Because R, you can watch it at 17.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least in Texas. I think, but I'm pretty sure it's anywhere. But let me ask this question, a serious question. Do you really feel like Star Wars movies, they might have... let's not talk about the prequels for a moment. Let's talk about... Well, it's kind of hard to even say that. But do you really feel like overall that it was designed in mind for kids? I will give Freddie Prinze the, what he was trying to allude to. Like, you have... Freddie, he was saying Luke Skywalker is what do you say, Sleeping Beauty or somebody else, and then Obi-Wan is a fairy godmother, and I get that comparison, but and I'm not trying to attack you. I'm honestly trying to understand this because maybe I am wrong. Mm-hmm. Do you really feel like that movie is for kids?
So that's why one of the reasons I asked her the question that I asked her was who are the kids that it is made for, right?
Yeah. Well, the kids that buy
10
toys.
and under, 12 and under, 13 and under, 16 and under, or 16 to 13, 10 to 14. And is that entire frame of people from 10 to 16, are those considered kids? Or is what you're talking about, Micah, is 4 through 10? Are those considered kids?
I think 4 through 10 is considered.
See, and I don't think that's what this was designed for. I think it was designed. I think this was designed for kids, quote unquote, between 10 to 16.
Because it's just as easy as a 50-year-old calling a 22-year-old, "Hey, kid."
Well, no. I understand that, but from what I'm trying to recall, what Lucas have said in mind you, old, catalog, I used to be subscribed to the Star Wars Insider years ago, back in the 80s. From what he said was he wanted to make films for when he went to the movies when he was a kid, and go watch them, which in my mind was that 10 to 16-year-old. You don't go to movies when you're a kid at like 4 or 5 years old.
Who said that though?
George Lucas. Going to see Buck Rogers and Zorro and Looney Tunes and stuff like that.
And I asked that too. I guess we all have to come to an understanding. If we're going to have the conversation that was meant for kids, what is kids meant by George Lucas, and what do we perceive?
Masters of
and I think that's really important.
I would assume kids would be 10 and under. Mm-hmm. That's not to say that 10 to 16 are not still young people, but obviously a 5-year-old is going to have a wildly different, take on life and understanding of life than an 11-year-old. And
images that they see on TV or in the theater.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I'm not trying to fight this. Just stop just a second ago. Cut. Anyway, there might be a dark spot for a second there.
That's cool.
Only like a minute or two.
Yeah, that's not bad.
But it's a serious question because I'm not trying to attack anyone. I'm trying to understand this because, like maybe for the originals, I'll attack you anyway. Anyone individually, but on this particular subject, because I feel like the originals, okay, we can say they're for kids. When they came out, who other than kids and maybe a fringe, a fringe section of the adults cared about science fiction? Mm-hmm. And I'm not trying to make a point, but I'm trying to understand, to my understanding, who gave a shit about science fiction at that point in time? It seemed like more so that was kids or young teens, right? Now, I would definitely say that episode 1, maybe the beginning of the prequels at least, was meant for kids. But are we really going to say that, in episode 2, when Mace Windu decapitates Jango Fett, that was made with kids in mind? Mm-hmm. It's a battle. It's a fight. It's not a fight like, I'm going to beat you up. It's like, it's a battle to the death.
I don't know. When I was 8 years old, I liked when Carl Weathers got his arm shot off by Predator.
But that wasn't made for kids.
But
Is it made
I
for
thought it
kids
was made
because
for
you
kids.
enjoyed it?
I enjoyed it.
But I think that's the problem that we're having.
Tim is all, I loved
I enjoyed the
it.
shit out of it. Watch it over again, dude. Watch it.
I like it too, but the point that we're trying
so funny. So funny.
Tim, I like it too,
I
but
get
the
your point.
point
I know
that
what
I'm
you
trying
mean,
to
dude.
make
Yeah.
is that was not meant for kids.
Yeah,
in
well, not
mind.
meant for kids. But
And
I
it's
think
hard to have the conversation that this was all meant for kids with what we see in it, and then sit there and try to say it was meant for kids and only kids, but everyone can enjoy it.
Yeah.
This is a little bit different from an animated movie about a squirrel looking for lost nuts. This is wildly different.
Lost
Over the
Connect.
Hedge.
Oh, okay.
You can have these Disney movies that
I
are
like
rated
the cookie.
G that are meant for little kids, and you can insert adult humor because the children obviously won't understand that.
Yeah.
But this is slightly different. Christ, Wars is in the name of the fucking title.
Well,
Oh, we're PG-13.
so
Sorry.
No, we're R.
We're
I said
R?
it twice.
Oh.
Actually, he said it 3 times.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
the
wow.
third
All
I said it a
right.
couple
We're
times.
just...
You said it before.
we're-
Thanks for joining us today, Freddie Prince.
I'm sorry.
No, because when I heard it, I was like, that was a bit much for me. But obviously, I need to get some. Fucking kids.
So,
He's passionate about it.
I guess what we have to determine is when we hear the word kids and you correlate that with Star Wars. What exactly does that mean? What does it mean to you, Tim?
It means merchandise. It means lightsabers.
No, I'm
it's
talking
toys.
about a number for the age.
Oh.
When Lucas said, "Hey, this is for kids," Freddie Prinze says, "Hey, this is for kids." Let's say Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni says, "Hey, this is for kids."
Yeah.
In your mind, you yourself, Tim, not what everybody else thinks, not what I think, not what Micah thinks, not what Sarah thinks. What do you personally think when you hear, "Hey, this is for kids," and you see the product? What number are you putting this for? And then I wanted to ask you guys
It's like
too.
8 to 18, because these guys that are saying that are like 50 years old. They're like, these are for
Now?
kids.
What would you
Now?
what
Yeah.
would you
Like
consider
the
1 to
movies
7
now.
then? Infants?
What?
Well, no.
You didn't. He said 8 to 18 for kids, but I'm trying to ask you. Then what is under 8?
Well,
what do you
we'll
consider
get to
under
that
8?
point, but I just want to know what
Child.
to Tim's thought
Child,
process.
kid, it's synonymous with one another. It's the same thing.
People still call me kid because I'm young.
I call people kid because my last name is. Doesn't make you a kid. Doesn't make you a child. Doesn't make you an adolescent. Doesn't make you a young person.
But
You're right. Now that's why George Lucas is calling these people kids.
But that's what we're trying to understand is what that.
I think
means.
that's what he means.
so for Tim, you're saying between 8 and 18.
Yeah.
For you, that's what that's when you hear kids. You're like, hey, for kids, 8 to 18.
Pretty much.
Okay, Sarah, what do you think?
Well,
Without any outside
considering,
influences.
Like, younger
17,
children are dressing
17.
up as like Kylo Ren and Darth Vader. I would say maybe like 2. Yeah, like 2 to 18.
2 to 18.
Because there are very small children that are dressed up as Kylo Ren and Darth Vader and Rey. I mean, we've seen them as cute little like cosplayers and stuff.
Yeah.
So they obviously know at least the general story of
Are you okay with
the
that, Michael?
sequels.
What?
With her saying 2 to 18? I wasn't arguing with you for your 8 to 18, but I'm saying is what would you consider under
Yeah.
8? That's,
I mean,
that's
they're
the only
still
reason why I asked the
children.
question. It's the only reason why I asked the question.
I just want to know if you're okay with it.
They're still children, but that's the target
Well,
audience, is what he's
I don't
saying.
agree with you, but I'm not
It's
disagreeing with you.
tense right now.
Well, what is it to you when they
I've
say
already
kids?
said it's like 10 and under.
10 and under.
Maybe even.
But I mean, there's still like older kids dressing up
Well,
too.
that's like your
or
opinion, though, compared to
cosplaying or
theirs.
whatever you want.
This
There's
is all.
adults
This is
cosplaying.
all opinion right now.
Yeah, this is all opinion. Yeah, this is all
And again, I'm
opinion.
not attacking you for saying 8 to 18. I disagree 8 to 18, but I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying is what do you call something
Kids.
younger? An infant? Because I think child and
Yeah.
kid is equivalent. It's synonymous with one another. So if I hear someone say a child, I'm still gonna be thinking under 10.
But you can still call someone in junior high or high school a kid.
You can
Not
call
really
me
a child.
kid.
But you can call someone in elementary, like lower than that, like pre-K. Those are childs to me.
But like in like an insulting way, I've been called a kid. I'm in my 20s. I'm in my mid 20s. I know I'm not a child.
I think
but
maybe that George Lucas and all these other directors or representatives of, Lucasfilm are using the wrong terminology. Maybe they should use,
Young
instead of
adults
kid,
or
perfectly said.
Yeah.
This is for young people, young adults.
yeah.
Hold on a second, though. People have different meanings for different words. I don't think it's George Lucas saying the wrong words. I think people are
Maybe
bent
interpreting
on a word that is so interpreted
Or
in
maybe
many
we
different ways.
are bent on-
Such a versatile word for kid. Again, and that's why I said, like, I call everyone kids at times. Is not in a derogatory way, even though you could derogatorily say a 20-year-old is a kid if they're living at home and not paying their bills and don't have a job kind of thing.
Or, like, you can
you can
use it as a
use it in a
joke.
derogatory way, but you could also use it in non-derogatory ways. So I don't think it's a manner of a person having to say a particular thing, but when someone is going to make a case based off of one word that someone had said and make a whole idea that anyone else is not a kid is an insane notion.
So
especially
you're not,
for a word that is so versatile.
I gotta ask, you're not.
I call people cats. Doesn't make them four-legged
Right.
creatures with
But
tails.
You wouldn't
Except
be.
for Tim.
You wouldn't be.
Last night.
Okay. So, for you, Micah, there is no leeway then. 10 is the cutoff for kids.
I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you ask me my interpretation,
Yeah, no, that's right.
It would probably be 10 and under.
Right there,
But if
right.
if I was talking to someone and they called someone kid and I knew that person was over 10, I probably wouldn't address them the same way. But I'm not going to be
That's a
like
really big child.
But I'm not going to turn around and be like, okay, now I know this person thinks 18-year-old is a kid.
Yeah.
And now I know that they're going to use this word this specific
For
way,
that way.
all the time.
Yeah.
When we always use words in different meanings,
Yeah.
in different ways, and
Perspectives.
different interpretations and different perspectives.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like I that's like compelling someone to use specific, wording and getting hell bent on that idea.
Yeah.
But isn't Freddie Prinze Jr. like really into Star Wars though?
We were
thought-
talking about
We're having the
that.
conversation too.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's what happens when I miss shows.
No, that wasn't against you, but we were trying to ascertain that.
I was I thought he was a fan.
Was he huge into Star Wars, or is it because he became invested because he was in a show that was in fact meant for kids?
Which was Rebels.
Oh,
He was a voice of Kanan Jarrus on Rebels that was
Okay.
meant for kids, and I will say it was meant for kids
Well,
because
then that-
it was an animated cartoon on a show
Disney.
called Disney Network
And
that
it
was
was in
marketed
the
for
corner.
kids
It had the
Yeah.
K.
4
for
to
kids.
whatever.
Okay.
It's tough, right?
Well, I mean, you don't have to be a specific age group to enjoy something.
Mm-hmm.
That's my
And that's
take on
one
it.
conversation I made before.
Mm-hmm.
But it just, I don't know why we're getting hell bent on these things. Like, no, these were meant for kids. It's like,
Does it matter?
yeah.
Yeah. Very true.
Because it is so weird to say that this is meant for kids, but
But
everyone
so, I mean,
can
so
enjoy
it's
it.
technically
What
Halloween.
the hell does that mean?
So, but
What
I mean,
definition
like-
of means
Everybody can enjoy
I
the
looked it
Predator.
up on dictionary, and the dictionary says that is an informal word.
Kid.
So you can use it for whatever.
Right. That's what.
Yeah,
that's
Micah
what I said.
was-
That the word
yeah,
was versatile
But
in its
still, like,
meaning.
even though if something is supposed to be meant for kids, Halloween was yesterday, so is Halloween. We all
Yeah.
still enjoy it.
Yeah.
We all still do celebrate it in some way.
Yeah.
So,
And because
That's-
that conversation, I wouldn't say Halloween is meant for kids. Maybe trick or treating. But then again,
well,
you
I
could
mean,
say
even so, like,
and-
I still
but-
ate some of the candy yesterday, not gonna lie.
But that's what I'm saying. So even though parents can make it fun out of it and,
And they
handing out
enjoy
treats.
it, yeah.
So again, to say something is meant for one group,
False.
class, grouping of people
then-
or whatever, but then say that everyone can enjoy it just by like definition, you're essentially saying that it's for everybody.
Yeah.
Or what are you saying? It's meant to be childish at heart. That's a different.
Possibly.
That's a different conversation. That's a different.
Possibly.
And again, are we going to say someone getting decapitated is childish at heart? Are we saying we're going to go
Well,
blow
I
something
mean-
up? We're going to go blow something up with people who are just following orders. The Death Star. Is that childish at heart? Seeing your aunt and uncle burnt to a crisp
Oh, God.
in the desert, is that childish at heart?
Yes.
This is a stupid conversation now. I'm not talking about our conversation,
I think-
but the people getting hell bent like George Lucas
Yeah.
says it's for kids.
Yeah, I think it's so borderline because I think at the time he probably thought of himself as a kid going to see Buck Rogers and Looney Tunes and all these other sci-fi things that he wanted to.
It's bright in here.
I know, right? He wanted to. Oh my God! There you go. Mike is back.
These young adults, these kids.
Yeah, I think he was more of a young adult when he went to go do these things, and he wanted to bring that to the theater.
So maybe that was his goal, but I mean, it's not really. It's
I think
not what George Lucas intended anymore, or he's not just like starting out.
Yeah.
Anymore.
And that's
and what's good too is
was.
that now they're putting. We do have a. What is it called?
Cool.
Rating system.
yeah.
To where now, it'll say up there 4 kids, PG.
I mean,
for whoever, and then you got.
it's not necessarily for kids. It's just appropriate for kids.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, for viewing.
What? Because okay. No.
Well, I think it gets into other conversations, kind of like Tim saying at the age of 8, he's watching a rated R film. Like,
It's a question we can ask.
No.
We can.
and don't get me wrong, I'm not against rated
George
R.
Lucas. How is Star Wars for kids?
Oh my God, George Lucas! Sorry.
He's gonna be signing something for you. And he's like, get the hell out of here.
But also too, you probably I don't want to say that, but I'm just curious if you asked him today, away from all this, not having a direction. The interview you showed me, like, hey, how do you think such and such is going for a new movie? He's gonna be like, not my fucking job, don't care.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if y'all have seen this. Will you, Sarah? Would you mind going to YouTube and putting in George Lucas TMZ?
Is
I don't
it
know
real?
if y'all have seen it.
Is it real?
It's real.
Okay.
It's funny too.
Because the last time I got a George Lucas
You haven't
Is
video,
that one where he signed something?
Yeah, I think I showed it to you. Yeah. We'll
just George Lucas TMZ.
George
Okay.
Lucas TMZ. I think it's like 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Great.
There's a couple.
I'm a problem putting this on this here too.
Ah, shit.
Must have done.
Well done, Mr. Lucas. Hey, Mr. Lucas. Mr. Lucas, how do you think Ron Howard would do directing the Han Solo movie, sir? I think he'll be great. That's awesome. Any suggestions for him? Nope. Not my job. Okay. Mr. Lucas, I've already done that. How do you feel about the LA City Council vote tomorrow? You got good feelings about it? Well, if we get it, it'll be great. Anything to say to them to sway
No
their votes?
fucks given.
To the LA City Council people to sway their votes in your direction? Well, there's nothing I can do. I think they've already made their decision. They're either gonna, I'm not going to keep doing that, guys. This is $200 a signature, so why don't you just go out and get a job?
There you go, Mr. Lucas. $200 a signature, go get a job.
Yeah, these people are here to make money. They're not fans, they don't care. They just want to make money.
They just want to put on eBay.
That's it, sir. I just signed it. He just got $1,000 worth of stuff.
Oh, what?
You're a very generous man. Mr. Lucas, what do you think about Mark Hamill finally getting his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? I think that's fine.
God damn. That's nice. What do you think about global warming? Yeah, it's great. Cool.
What do you think about global warming? It's heating up outside.
What are your thoughts on that? Oh, this was back when the Han Solo movie was coming out.
I mean, it's kind of.
I mean, not even 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Put your phone down now.
no, I'm trying to get to the video that. No.
Put your phone down now.
He's done. He's so over it. He's so fucking. I mean, I don't blame him. I think if any of us were in the same boat, we'd be like, yeah, leave me the hell alone. Like, I'm done with this already.
Yeah.
Like, this was my baby. I sold it away. Just
go.
leave me the
Yeah.
But still, like, dang, at least and I know they're not children, and I know that guy wasn't a fan. He even was like, dude, go get a job. Like, stop freeloading off of this opportunity that you have. It would have been better if there was actually fans there, but he was just over it. And those poor people, if they were actually fans, I don't think his attitude would have changed. Mm-hmm. And that makes me sad. That makes me so sad.
What do you think about Mark Hamill getting a star?
Yeah, that's great. What about the vote on the thing? Yeah, cool.
Wow.
That makes me sad.
Does it make you
That makes me
sad?
so sad. And even like, because my friend had shown me that video that I was telling you guys about, like it's fake. And I was like, oh, thank God. But still, like, I wouldn't put it past him to say any of that shit.
Yeah.
Like, after seeing that, I'm sad. God.
Does it make you more excited that Disney bought Star Wars?
No.
No?
No. Because, I mean, what if he was, yes. Because if he was still head of Lucasfilm, maybe he would still have like a little sparkle left or something. I don't know. I think he's just over it. He's just tired.
Yeah. Wow. Mandalorian is coming out next. Something for us all to get excited about. George Lucas, what do you think? Sarah, you're George Lucas, and I'm the reporter. Hey, George. So Mandalorian's coming out, Disney Plus, November 12th. What do you think?
That's nice. Their trailer's nice. That's so funny. That's cool. I bet my name's on it too. Like that was in one of the videos, or that video that my friend sent me. Like he just started out with like, "Yep, that's my name."
All right. Wow.
I don't know. It's not my job.
Yes. That makes me sad.
Very.
Like he doesn't even care about his baby anymore.
And that's the point that I've been trying to make, and people aren't buying it. It's not his anymore.
Oh, you've hammered that home.
Well, I know.
I agree with you.
And some people still refuse to buy into
them.
that. Well, Tim's one of them.
Oh, we'll beat you, Tim.
For what?
I think he buys into it, but I think what Tim is more adamant with is that the philosophy, right, that George Lucas passed on.
Oh yeah.
The theme for it.
But it's
And who it's geared for.
Oh. Children. 8 to 18.
Those young at heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so Sarah just watched the Mandalorian trailer, and before we started the podcast, you watched also the Rise of Skywalker new trailer, final trailer for the first time.
Yes, I did.
Talk to us about that, Sarah.
I like that there was no Darth Ray BS in there.
There was no what?
Darth Ray.
Are you sure? Because I...
What? What? There was nothing. No. Lewis. I need to watch it with the sound off.
I think you need to look at it again, Sarah. Maybe with the volume down.
I guess that's what happens when you only watched it once.
Because there's a lot of things in there that that you see, but maybe you didn't really see.
What?
We see an iceberg. Planet. Is that a planet? Iceberg planet, Tim? Micah? We talked about that.
Okay.
Is it Hoth?
No, what?
They blew up Hoth and that's all that's left.
Why aren't you mentioning it?
What's that?
Really?
The Death Star?
Your idea of what that ice thing is.
I think it's a Star Destroyer hidden in that ice. And they're going to unlock it.
Okay, so now you said it. Now I can say it's wrong.
Okay, you bastard. So Sarah's watching the trailer again with the voice down.
Yeah.
The voice.
I can't do sound and video at the same time.
Yeah, she watches the movie silent.
She's telling you to shut up.
There's a point where you hear Palpatine's talk, laugh.
Oh, I see the ice. And the chair.
It's a throne. Jesus.
Throne.
You're gonna see Rey with a dark figure off to the side, cloak. Pause it there if you can.
What? Okay, hang on. Explosions. You think C-3PO is gonna die?
How about, what do you think?
I think C-3PO is gonna die.
Do you want him to die?
That's...
Well, let's look at my friends.
Yeah, I don't know if he's saying like they're gonna die or he's gonna die or what's
He's
going
on a suicide mission.
Maybe he's getting sold or something.
Suicide mission.
Suicide mission.
I think he's doing the time machine that Windows has.
Oh.
They call it time machine. Go back to a certain point in time.
Yeah.
Like before you download that virus.
Is it right there?
Did you miss it?
Yeah.
Did I? Oh,
There's no Darth Ray in this.
That's That's what I said.
Well, no, Lewis is trying to be silly.
That's Kylo Ren.
She's
Did I
saying
miss it?
Darth Ray, like the double-bladed
Like
saber that we saw at the end of the other trailer.
Red-eyed Ray.
That Ray. So, did you...
Wait, stop.
I believe he's tooling with you, sir. Fire everything!
Okay.
Who?
There? Oh,
No, that's
shit.
not-
There's no Darth Ray in this.
I know, but where's the dart? This? Here?
I think he was talking about before that.
No, I think he's
Look.
talking about when they're in that potential vault with Kylo Ren and
Oh.
they're destroying some kind of black.
Oh, no.
What were you talking
No, there's a scene where...
Stop. Wait. You talking about this part, Lewis? Or is this
What are you talking
right
about,
there?
Lewis?
Storyless Forever.
Oh.
No.
That was Kylo Ren.
Where there?
Lewis doesn't even know what the
Let
hell
me
he's
see.
talking
No, I know what I'm
about.
talking about. Let me see. Right there.
There? She's like, they're coming to get her. Whoever that is.
Let me see.
Well, who is it?
It's a guy in a suit.
Are you sure it's a guy
Oh,
in
you're
a
talking
suit?
about the floating
person
throne
in a-
thing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually,
floating
that-
throne thing?
I actually think that
What in the
if she's a clone, because if you look at the throne,
Look, yeah, that's why I wanted to deposit
Okay.
on that scene.
if you look
Ah,
at the throne that you saw in the beginning, the thing that you called a chair, it
Yes.
looked like it was all like essentially stone working.
Yeah.
That thing at the end is not stone. It looks like
It's like robot metal crap.
Looks like
robot metal. Hey, can I get some more of that metal? You know, the good shit, the robot kind.
Robot middle.
It like electronics.
Oh, you're taking too long. Give me this.
Well,
Give me this thing. You guys are hilarious. Hello, everyone.
he was able to-
Hello, we're doing
Right here.
episode 59.
Yeah.
he was able to clone
it looks
Anakin.
like
So what I'm saying is if you can
Again.
see around, this is the figure.
We got Darth
Yeah.
Vader right
Sitting
there.
in
the
something,
throne.
it looks like it's almost like a
Looking
floating
down at
throne,
Rey.
but that's like
Sarah is
electrical.
Just watching the final
Yeah.
trailer
You see, that's-
meddling,
for,
meddling.
See, that's
That's not the
episode
stone throne.
9, The Rise of Skywalker for the first
okay,
time.
hang on. I'm gonna try
And
to
she's seen
brighten
stuff
the
in there,
screen.
so
Give me a second.
That's Darth
we'll get her
Vader.
reaction to that.
So fine, we want to talk about that now?
Yeah.
All right.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Nuts!
I mean, that's Darth Vader.
Tell me.
That doesn't look like a damn
To the devil
thing.
by the pale moonlight.
Are you kidding me? If you watch it, it's a cloak. Someone in a cloak, because you can see it kind of like moving back
Oh,
and forth.
Now
okay.
she
play,
sees it.
Now,
Okay.
play it in real time.
It
Though.
also looks like the studs on
But wait,
Vader's
wait.
neck.
Oh, shoot.
Just
What?
no, just do this.
Just no. Stop.
Jesus, like she's
Like
never worked a
without
phone before. I know you've had a new, like 5-year newer phone for the last.
I know, but I don't get to do a lot of things with it
Again, why are you treating this like an essay script?
because
Reset.
3:. Oh.
God damn it.
Okay.
Do you have any?
But do you get the idea?
I get
you
the
get the
idea.
shot with
Yes.
Ray over here in the background, in the
And there's a
foreground.
guy with a
Whoa, a guy?
purse, a thing, a being.
Something?
Could still be Darth Jar Jar, as
Could.
far as we
Okay.
know.
Yes. Clone.
It's like, fuck.
Me's back.
I think I actually may have to put the explicit tag on this one.
Probably.
I met my own quota for the day, so. Anything else I say to be added to a fuck shit?
So, there's a lot of stuff in there to look at.
And sound just gets in the way.
New force abilities.
Oh, I could tell Tim because he's okay. Battlefront 2, Tim. You remember the shot with the Y-wing? It's shooting at the
There,
underbelly, of
haha.
that cannon-looking thing. Mm-hmm. Doesn't it kind of seem like I know it's technically years apart, but the mission that you're on Geonosis, the Battlefront 2 mission, the Galactic Assault.
Okay.
Maybe.
When you at the very end, they're trying to blow up that little thing at the bottom, the turret, that cannon.
Yeah.
To destroy the entire ship. I don't know, that scene, that's what it kind of... I'm not saying that that's it,
Yeah.
but it resembled something like that.
Maybe he's
So-
on Darth Maul legs.
What the fuck?
Well, he has done that before in episode 1. Right, his
Spider legs.
the spider legs, but it was his hologram, and it was walking like that. You could be right.
That's not a hologram.
No,
No, I know, but he could just be sitting on
I
a
mean, it
chair
could
with Darth
be-
Maul legs.
Okay, so this is my theory, and
Okay.
and Micah brought this up as well. What if that?
Thanks, man.
What if that?
Citing your source.
What if that is Rey, Dark Rey?
Oh, and she's a clone.
He's had clones in Legends, and they were all of the younger variety.
I believe.
That
You don't
would-
like it?
I don't wanna. No, well,
Like it?
no. I don't wanna think about it.
Well,
You don't want to think about it?
While she's not
It's too much pressure.
While she's trying not to think about it, what if that was a way to tie in Legends? That it would almost like bring back some of these older fans that have been having a problem with this new trilogy. Be like, hey, we're bringing some of this shit back.
Yeah,
Pay attention. Look at what we got.
that'd be great. I think it'd be awesome. So 3PO is gonna die, from what Sarah says. She's already seen the movie.
Yep.
They even remember how we've seen these shows in the past, and it's like there's a message, and I'm sure it's portrayed in the movie in such a way, but it's almost specifically designated in the trailer to have that another kind of meeting.
And the last
for
one,
us,
Luke was
and-
like, "This is not gonna go the way that you think."
Yeah,
It's
something
gonna
like that.
Yeah.
But in this one, like towards the beginning of the trailer, and you see her when she's on that ruins of the Death Star 2, like before Kylo Ren approaches her, she goes, "Everyone thinks they know who I am, but no one knows." Maybe we still, and I think, and I have to believe this because I said it walking out of Episode 8, The Last Jedi, that Kylo Ren was bullshitting her. That I still don't think we have not seen on or in the movies her true identity.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't think she was throwaways, and I've even brought that with evidence from the novelization talking about that she was dropped off by a loved one. "I will be back for you, sweetheart," saying something to that effect.
Yeah.
Now, is she the son, or is she the daughter of Mara Jade, which is inevitably Luke? I'm not going to go so far as to say that, but she's definitely something. She's definitely something or someone more significant than what we've seen. And I think if we're to hold up on any kind of rumors, I don't know if you want to call it rumors, but like threads, hold on, any notions brought up in a trailer, like I said, like what we've seen they did in Episode 8 and then for this one, that I think that's one thing to look at, that we don't know who she is, because it's yet to have been confirmed on screen her true identity or her true lineage, which would go back to
even Luke was scared of her, right?
Palpatine, because she is Palpatine.
Oh gosh.
Jeez.
Well, we don't know who she is. Nobody knows. Luke didn't know. He was scared of her and didn't mind that she left the island, right? The only one that's
no
not
one
scared
is
of her
from
is
nowhere. I'm from Jakku.
Oh,
okay, that is.
the only one that's not scared of her is Chewie. Seems like.
Yeah, because he just knows, like, you got Force? You know I could kill my old master. He just, boom.
Yeah, that might be the way he goes. That he's.
What? No.
Yeah, he's what?
You think he'll kill Chewie off?
No, they're not gonna.
If it is, it might be Rey that does it.
Nope.
Because, and maybe not that she
Not
means
Rey as
Chewie.
we know it.
Yeah.
Palpa Ray. Rapatine?
That's even worse than mine. When I said
Oh my god!
that's awesome.
Potine.
Rapatine.
Ray hyphen.
Palpatine.
Potine.
Say it all together. Say it all together.
What's that dish they have in Canada? Like the
Poutine.
poutine fries? That's what it sounds like.
Punani.
Poutine is gravy fries with cheese on top, I think.
It sounds like, yeah, Ray's making her own special poutine.
Ralpatine.
And gravy made from
Ralpatine.
Chewie's bones.
It's,
What the wrong?
all right.
Oh, Chewie lives forever. Chewie lives forever.
Tell us the pork he was eating in the last one.
Stop. Chewie lives
Just to
forever.
give you, he did die in Legends.
Dude, look at her out. She's like,
Who died in Legends?
Alright, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was really sad.
I don't want to know. Don't tell me. I don't want to hear it.
well, he kind of just told you. So.
I know, but I don't want to know how.
But you know who we don't know? Also, we don't know if we want Brie Larson in the Star Wars universe.
That is a perfect
That was a
segue.
great. Yeah, that was a good job.
I mean, what do y'all think? These are floating
You know-
around just in the ether. here and there in the Twitter sphere.
In the Wi-Fi's?
Yes.
It's in the Wi-Fi somewhere?
It's all jammed in the toes.
All up in the Wi-Fi's.
Yeah.
Ew.
And we're trying to get it out of the toes and it just doesn't want to go away.
It should.
What
Brie
in the
Larson is like
Fudge.
toe fungus. She just won't go away.
As soon as you think you get rid of it, she goes,
Here it comes crawling back. So what do y'all think about all these rumors, official rumors, that Brie Larson's going to be in a Star Wars movie, series, whatever? But, I mean, there's even mock-ups of her from, whether it's fans or I don't know who's putting these things out.
They should stop.
She's as a Jedi, as a Sith, or whatever it is.
I know she said she wanted to, and it sounds like she has a backing of Kevin Feige, especially. Feige, yes, that's his name.
Feige?
Not Fasha.
So it's Foggy.
Especially with
Foggy.
F-I-G-E.
Foggy. Well, like Daredevil for Foggy, you know?
Foggy?
Yeah,
Foggy,
his
yeah.
name was actually different than Feige. So, with Feige doing a new film, it seems more possible. But this is in part of my concern because she seems like she is a great actress. From everything I've seen, even though the first time I saw her was on The League. You remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, where she's the au pair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Au pair. She was the au pair.
But she was also in 21 Jump Street.
She was.
She was.
She was.
She was. Anyway, the interviews like she's done for for Endgame and stuff, it seems like she doesn't get along well with her co-stars.
Yeah.
Like that was so many
could see
rumors.
that.
So many rumors who were coming out how she was butting heads with like 80% of her co-stars.
Because she's insane.
So having said that, in part my concern is if you introduce her, just I guess let her be for a film, her own shit.
Yeah.
So she doesn't alienate anyone else
Speaking
that
of
we
that,
know in the universe
so
to continue forward.
Maybe she's like just stuck on Dagobah. Right? Yoda's already.
Maybe she becomes Yoda. Is Yoda.
Maybe we can just have her be a digital character.
She gets bewitched by somebody other in the Force, and
No.
she becomes some short, tiny, green, old creature.
I'm beating her up, but no, I'm just kidding around. But a lot of people are beating her up on the internet, not wanting her to be in the Star Wars universe.
There was even a makeup of her as Ahsoka. And I'm sorry, when Rosario Dawson said that she wanted to, and they did a makeup of her,
That was perfect.
like I was like, there's nobody else, man. Come on.
There's a comment on that. I couldn't read it though. It's too fast.
So maybe you should
give me
read
a
it
second.
then.
Yeah.
Because they're probably
Yes, sir.
talking addressed to me.
Oh,
Yeah.
What's up?
Lame-o.
maybe. Sarah's gonna look at it.
Yeah, give me a second. What is this? What are we
But
doing?
what do you think, Tim? About
Why are you looking at pictures of
Brie
girls,
Larson?
Sarah?
It's Instagram.
Pretty large.
I wasn't okay with at first. I guess I only know her from Avengers.
Yes.
All the other stuff y'all are mentioning, I don't even remember.
James Conner is doubtful for Sunday's game.
But I
Sorry,
wasn't-
continue.
When I first saw her as that character she was playing, I didn't agree with it.
Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
I need help.
Oh, you and Micah went to go see that together, right?
Do we? It's Captain Marvel?
I thought y'all did.
We did.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tim,
anyway,
why are you ignoring our friendship?
after I haven't seen that movie and
I can't.
yeah, I haven't seen that movie.
It's not,
I guess
it's not
wasn't
going to show
too bad.
previous comments. You can only see it on there. That's what I'm saying.
But it was,
being a
it
bug.
wasn't the best either.
I doubt it if they keep in tradition with new trilogies, they will probably to find up and coming actors. Maybe they have a brief or supporting role. At least that's my guess.
You said that?
That is,
Before I said-
Star Wars Savage.
Good job, sir. You got one right. No, I agree to that, though. And I think that's the whole notion that we have to talk about this new thing, though.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, no, when we get to it.
Yeah.
That if we do have the philosophies of Lucas in 1 through 9, everything else is going to be different.
Yeah.
Because it'll be new.
I don't know if she'd
Thank you
take
for the input. We appreciate it.
a lesser role from Captain Marvel like that. To step down and take a supporting role.
Maybe she'll come back as Mace Windu.
where she turns into an ugly little goblin.
Come back as Mace Windu's hand.
Just the hand. Her whole body is the hand. Sarah, what do you think?
I've been falling for 30
Be honest.
years.
I mean, I was beating her up, but that was just to show that's what she is getting from what I've
other
seen
people,
from the internet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts? I mean, have you
once
seen
you
her?
piss off the internet, like
It's tough, right?
I've seen her in other movies. Mm-hmm. And I saw one interview of her. Well, an interview, of her.
Movies.
But if you don't work well with your coworkers, that kind of sets you up for a bad time.
Unless you find coworkers with the same.
Would you be okay with her being in a Star Wars movie? Would you like to see her?
Not as Ahsoka, but sure, yeah.
Not Ahsoka.
Not Ahsoka. I agree with Micah for once. Like for the third time. Look what you did. Ever.
Look what she did to my baby boy.
After like hearing Rosario Dawson, I was like, ding.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
And I know we've mentioned this before because we mentioned the notion if Keanu Reeves ever did get a role in Star Wars, what would he play? And how I've mentioned before that we have had some, more known or more famous actresses, but the roles have always almost been more supplementary or more of a kind of not as in screen. What the hell would you call it? Like a more wise kind of role.
Okay.
What am I trying to talk about?
I think I know what you mean.
But anyway, but for these new, I feel like these new roles, it's always been someone less well known, and they'll develop into that role.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. So Savage, Omniverse, I wouldn't care either way if she's in it. I neither like
nor hate her. That's what
Or
and
it's like
it's
the
almost
only
like that.
person.
It's either like get the hell out of here or
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
Because I mean, she doesn't
But
do a
isn't-
bad job,
but
but I
isn't-
didn't really care.
They
about
say the
Captain Marvel.
opposite of love is not hate.
It's just indifference.
It's indifference.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
Because if you hate somebody, their name is still on your
Yeah,
mind. Like you
exactly.
still talk about
There's
them.
some
It's negative,
emotion.
but there's still attention to that.
yeah.
Where like what you said, indifference is just
Yeah, and I think my huge problem with her was not that I had a huge problem with it. Like I still watch Captain Marvel, and if there, when there's a sequel, I'll watch that one too. I don't think so much of my problem was with her acting abilities, but it was more so how she was like highly politicizing things after the fact. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Her off-screen attitude. Because, like I said, don't get me wrong. You can have whatever opinion you want to, whatever philosophy you want to follow. That's great. Everyone should be able to have those abilities, especially here than any other place in America. But when that starts to deteriorate away from a movie that you're putting out before it even comes out, it's like, do you not want me to spend money on you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, again, you can have your opinions, but maybe wait.
We actually talked about that at work once, where I think I made the point where it was like, you can have your views and you can voice them, but don't make it negative, make it positive. Because there was that thing that she had said about, or tweeted or something, that she didn't want white males to comment on the quality of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
And I was saying, why not make it a positive thing? Like, I want to hear more from the females or from whatever group she was trying to advocate for. Why not say, I want to hear more from them versus, no, I don't want to hear from you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's, I guess, just the attitude.
Make it all
Piggybacking off of what you
inclusive.
said.
I want to hear from everybody.
Yeah,
who's a fan
especially
of Captain
these
Marvel.
people who I hold at a higher whatever.
Yeah.
You know. What?
Yeah, so
Just like us, we want to hear from everybody.
I looked her.
Yeah.
So I looked
Except-
up her role on IMDb, like for her future movies. It didn't show the Star Wars anyway, but it showed 3 movies. It had her as this movie, a biography movie, Victoria Woodhull. And she plays Victoria. She's the main girl. And it has her Captain Marvel 2, main person, Captain Marvel. And then the third and final movie is a CIA untitled project movie or show, I think. And she's the only one cast. So I don't see her being as like
supporting.
like a side role or supporting. Like she's gonna be
the main person.
Yeah,
She's gonna be the turkey at Thanksgiving. Sorry, I heard side roll and I was like,
She may even have a lightsaber.
Wait, what is this?
Well, let's see what they do with her. Maybe she'll be in the Rian Johnson trilogy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If she's going to be anything, it's going to be Kevin Feige's work, probably.
Could be.
Maybe. Okay, I don't want to say that. But it seems more likely for that. But then again, if the rumors are true, where she's pissing off majority of her cast, the supporting cast, then maybe he's going to be like. I mean, maybe that gives him a vision into what he needs to do to cast the film that he does, or to be like, go away. You know what I mean? Like he knows better.
I'll tell you something though. Do you know who pissed me off?
Micah.
No.
Damn it.
That's a given.
well, yeah, but
Ewan McGregor pissed me off because he's been lying to me for the last 4 years.
You've been lying.
Wow, that sounds like a genuine thought.
How did that make you feel, Tim? Ewan McGregor was lying to you for the last 4 years.
You could have just said, "Yeah, I'm considering coming back playing Obi-Wan."
But
everybody would have been hyped for like another 4 or 5 years. 6 years.
Building up the anticipation.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Sarah? Ewan McGregor lied to you?
I'm okay with it.
Oh, how dare you?
No, I'm okay with it.
You're okay with him lying to you?
Yes.
Your performance right now is really concerning.
I'm saying.
Why?
It hit me hard.
Oh, God.
He's Obi-Wan.
I know.
He's supposed to be a good guy.
Obi-Wan is, but he is
I mean, when you're going to
Obi-Wan.
surprise somebody,
It's okay to lie.
it's okay to lie.
Oh, okay.
As long as it's their
Don't
best
tell that
interest.
to the legal system.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, no, in a good way. Not in a bad way.
They're going to use this for 20 years in the future when you're a suspect for murder. See, right
That's
here.
not
you
a good surprise. That's not a good surprise. Like Christmas.
Wait,
like
no,
Murder is not a good surprise.
I was like, you don't want to be. You don't want to be. It's not a good surprise. We should know she's a murderer now.
Oh my god.
No. Cut that part out because now I'm freaking
I just kill
out.
little animals on the weekend. That's all.
No, like
It's gonna
you're not.
grow-
Hey, no.
Let
You're
us
not
speak.
going to tell somebody what you get them for Christmas. You're going to lie to them, right? Because I can't keep a secret, so I'm just going to lie about it and then give them something else.
So you're equating what Ewan McGregor was doing was delivering the Christmas gift.
Yes. No, I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
I was just curious.
I don't
Actually, that was a
know.
fair analogy. You should have said yes.
I was
Okay,
gonna
fine,
say,
then yes.
what
I don't
is
know.
this
But hold on.
Yes.
Let's get,
but no, seriously, like when you're trying to
I'll take over for a second.
Thank you. I can't.
Let's get real for a second.
Let's get real.
Who the hell would have actually expected him to tell the truth, especially for a notion as fragile as trying to get something, an extra project for Obi-Wan Kenobi, especially with Han Solo having a problem, because of Episode 8. Like, if you want something to happen, don't bring attention to it. Would you really expect him to tell the truth? Yeah, they talked to me. Hopefully something happens. Because who's to say that if he actually was truthful, as you wanted, that they didn't just axe the project at that point?
How excited do you think he was when they said, yes, we're going to say something today?
I don't know if it's excited word. It's probably relief. Like,
yeah,
fuck,
like I don't have to keep lying.
Yeah, it's like finally this whole burden's off of me.
Yeah. And do you think, guys, in this Obi-Wan, because it's going to be a series on the Disney streaming, do you think they're going to do some kind of aging process to him for this to kind of like bridge the gap between what he looked like in Episode 3 to A New Hope? Or do you think they're just going to let it...
Have they done a set time?
Well, yeah, like, some kind of...
But I mean, okay, that's technically...
Yeah, maybe some more
I
brain.
think more so just hair color.
Yeah,
Nothing
more hair color.
crazy.
Yeah.
Because we've already... obviously we know where Obi-Wan ends.
Yeah.
His physical life anyway. And we've also seen, like, how quickly he's aged. I don't know what the hell he's been doing to cause him to age that much.
Some of those death sticks.
Yeah, like maybe he's almost... but, I mean, we've seen him even in Rebels when he's
He's already great.
He's counting
at it,
off
right?
again. Yeah, by Darth Maul. It wasn't that long of a time.
Right?
I mean, what was it? I guess it's 30 years. So maybe just he looked really young for what we saw him in episode 3.
Bold prediction from you guys, if y'all are up for it. Will we see somebody portray a very young Luke Skywalker in this series? Micah?
Yes, but very young.
Yeah, I know. I'm not. Yeah,
It's not going to...
5.
It's like if he's
Like
super
a kid.
young, it's not going to...
Seriously.
Well, that would still technically be in my age range.
There you go. Perfect.
I mean, yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't.
Tim?
Just hopefully it's not another Jake Lloyd
What's
thing.
that?
Where they screw Jake Lloyd.
He doesn't look
What's the
super
first
old.
line Luke says to Ben Kenobi? Is it Ben? He calls out to him.
Are you talking about the first line that we see in episode
The first line
4?
Luke says, like when he sees him.
In A New Hope?
Yeah.
He says, Ben Kenobi?
Yeah. All right. So I think that's how the series is gonna end, with the camera behind Luke. We won't see Luke, and then you'll
Oh,
see
I said that
him in the
before, yeah.
distance, and he's gonna say Ben Kenobi, and then credits.
You could, and you
That's it.
see the speeder coming in, and you just see like him and his hooded self just kind of
That would
sitting
be
off
a
to the side.
perfect
Just-
bridge, right?
And then we've seen the perfect bridge when they did it for Rogue One. You know, we really need.
So I don't think we'll see a young Luke, but we'll get him at the end.
At the very end.
Season.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Ewan McGregor. He plays Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star
No,
Wars.
I know. He doesn't look that old though.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is they will have to age him up probably a bit to
okay.
get to what Lewis
Prosthetics.
is talking about. But what I'm
Okay.
saying is I don't even think they're gonna have to go so far as a prosthetics.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Sir Alec Guinness, he doesn't like he's grayed. You could tell he's older, but it's not like wrinkly skin
Yeah.
and everything. You
So
know
what
I mean?
age group is older?
Wait,
Put a
hold on.
number to it.
What age group is older? Older than me. There you go.
So what do you think, sir? We're going to see a young...
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah. But there's not gonna like what I don't know. In my mind, it's not gonna be like, oh hey look, there's Luke. It's gonna be like a very brief period of time.
Does that mean we get to see Darth Maul in this?
I would like to see the.
If they recreated their
recreated.
scene where he's holding Ray Park.
Savage Omniverse says
Shit.
he was contractually obligated to lie, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
From what I
Oh
understand,
man,
See, so Lewis, your feelings shouldn't
You-
be too hurt.
So from what
he was
I
getting paid to
understand,
lie.
He's known about for a few
He's
years.
acting, you guys.
He's acting,
He's
yes.
known
Yeah.
about it for a few years. However, he didn't.
Such a damn
know-
good actor.
He didn't know when until Disney Plus became a thing. So I can understand being reluctant to say anything, not knowing a time frame.
Exactly.
Oh, hey, Dominic Pace is back with us.
Face.
Dominic,
Right.
He's going to be with us our next podcast. I reached out to Dominic already,
Cool.
so he's good to go. He's going to be on the East Coast for next podcast about midday. For us would be for him. So for us would be about 11.
Okay.
So we'll hammer out some of those details, Dominic. We appreciate your time, man. But back to what we were saying. Yes, now I don't feel so bad that he was contractually obligated to lie.
But that's what I'm
Yes, he
saying.
didn't do it to hurt your feelings.
I thought he did it to me to hurt
I
me.
know.
But even
and
if
I'm
he
Thank
wasn't
you.
contractually obligated, you really expecting him to tell you every whims of it?
Yes, I would.
And possibly ruin the project before it even took off?
Well, we need that information.
You're a silly person,
We need
Louis.
that information for this podcast. But no, and I understand that, but it was very, very.
See, Lewis is acting a role for the show.
Yes, I am.
He's lying.
This is what we call
Yeah.
personality because he's full of shit. No,
Oh God.
just playing, buddy. That's my job. Oh,
Well, things that are full of
like.
right. Things that are full of poopy.
Tim?
Tim, did you eat a lot?
Duty
of shit, or-
caca.
What?
No, Tim, I want you to share with us and everybody out there project that's going on
I
right
thought you were
now.
going to ask a
Project
quick
Luminous?
question. Toilet paper.
Did you talk about the
Over,
Project
under?
Luminous?
Oh God.
Yeah, What is it?
Dude, I still don't know anything about Project Luminous.
Let's get into it a little bit because we got about 9 minutes and this podcast will end.
Well, then maybe Lewis should do it since he's the one who printed this stuff out anyway.
No, I think Tim will do a great job at it.
See?
Well, let's see.
You are going to accept the command from your puppet
Dude,
master.
this is my first time seeing, second time seeing this.
Second time seeing it.
But I don't know what this is.
Just read it out.
It's,
Tim.
So,
it's pronounced
just the
project.
highlighted parts here?
Whatever, yeah.
All right, so it's the main page says the Force is what gives a Jedi his power. Its energy field created by all living things. Oh, its energy field created by all living things until Project Luminous, dated 2020.
Pretty quick.
Yes. Says whatever Project Luminous is, it sounds big. This is an article by NYCC 2019.
New York City.
Oh, okay.
Comic-Con.
So and then on StarWars.com.
But it says NYCC.
Yeah. Let's see. Project Luminous details and more revealed at the Lucasfilm Publishing revealed the mysterious initiative. While little is known about Project Luminous, Siglane showed a slide that stated the Force is what gives a Jedi his power, and then its energy. Again, that was what I was saying as a quote. It spans both comics and books to tell one cohesive story. It will be released in 2020. Details about the codenamed event will be revealed in January of that year. The idea of Project Luminous came from Lucasfilm's Publishing's creative director Michael Siglane. September of 2018, all 5 of the authors who had signed on for Luminous were taken to Skywalker Ranch in California, where they began to flesh out the story beyond the project. They were also joined by Lucasfilm Publishing editorial team and Lucasfilm Story Group. They stayed for a few days, spending most of their time discussing the project. They then went to Skywalker Ranch one more time in March of 2019, and Project Luminous was revealed 1 month later at Star Wars Celebration. All right, so it's covering
all we know on Project Luminous. And I think the heading, I don't know how persuasive or not.
Comics.
This one, where is it, Tim?
Luminous.
That one, right at the top, right above where it says Project Luminous. Read it one more time, real clear for everybody.
The Force is what gives a Jedi his power. Its energy field created by all living things until.
So there's still no more girl Jedis?
I know, it was like sexist.
Yeah,
Perfect role for Brie.
Oh, God. Well,
What? I understand
anyway.
What
I couldn't get the words out.
you had a great reaction to it when you read that, Sarah.
Yes.
Before we started the podcast, you were like,
The hell is this, man?
so does that mean there's no more Force, right? That's what you
Yeah.
said?
Well,
Something to
it
that?
sounds like the story is already out there. It says it spans both comics and books to tell one cohesive story.
But it won't come out until 2020,
Next year.
next year.
I mean, maybe this is a new direction,
Is it-
kind of like what we saw in episode 8 with
Is
the
it-
Broom Kid.
Is it going to be what? Like a book?
Books span books and comics
Oh, okay.
to create a cohesive story.
So it's like a retelling of everything?
So
Now the Force is
going
gonna
to
be-
continuation of something or
They're gonna,
something else.
They can somehow manipulate the Force now or manufacture it, like energy field created by all living things until someone else creates this luminous.
They're going
And
to make
so
it.
one of the
created
quotes
by a
that I
rock.
shared with Micah, and that Micah also found in a meme or a GIF, right?
GIF.
Was from The Empire Strikes Back, Yoda saying to Luke, "Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter." And then he pinches his skin.
Ghosties.
Force Ghost.
Project Luminous.
No, Force Ghost.
I know. What the-
So could you, instead of putting Luminous, put Project Force Ghost?
Yeah, it sounds wordy now.
Right.
Illuminous seems ominous, like luminous Illuminati. Wait, what?
Oh God, the Illuminati. But
Of which was portrayed in the movie. Angels and Demons, where Obi-Wan Kenobi himself played.
Oh yeah, he poured grease on it.
It's gonna be the story about Darth Plagueis.
Illuminati. Darth Plagueis.
Darth Plagueis?
Do you even know what the hell you're talking about?
Because he created
Energy.
energy field created by all living things.
Until you siphon the energy for yourself, Darth Plagueis.
See, but Plagueis gave someone his power, Anakin his power.
Could be.
All right, we've got 2 minutes. Let's make some wild assumptions.
I'm thinking that somehow they're going to be able to, like Ghostbusters, somehow harness the Force Ghost
Put them in a little box.
and take that energy and use it as a weapon.
I think he had it right, but he shouldn't have said Force Ghost, because they're not Force Ghosts if they're not dead.
A new weapon would be to use Force Ghost.
What if you had a new radicalized version of dark-themed people, not necessarily Sith, like the Knights of Ren, and yeah, they somehow went to unsuspecting Jedi that were very, I don't know, had the midichlorians, even though they haven't mentioned it since episode 1, and somehow siphoned it out like it was blood to harness that power.
True. This is another thing
Or Thrawn.
from one of the Legends books.
Thrawn's back.
Was that there's a species.
30 seconds, go.
There's a species that they actually, kind of like what Mike was saying, siphoned out the force or the energy of somebody, and then injected it into machinery. So you would be a TIE fighter. You would be a Star Destroyer. So you would be making the decisions of that ship.
The Millennium Falcon.
Exactly.
That's an enemy.
But with people.
But with
I know this from somewhere.
Yeah, but it does say it's book of comics, so.
yeah.
All right, yeah, we're down to 1 minute.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, that's how bad Tim's send-off was last time. Tim, I gotta wrap up. Okay, that was episode 58.
Wrap it up, Tim.
Like, yeah, I'll do the same thing.
All right.
Am I doing it? Wrapping it up?
I'll do it. All right. Well, we appreciate everybody listening, watching to episode 59 of the Force Choke Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms. Make sure to comment, like.
Even if we're not there.
Yes. Our next podcast will be with Dominic Pace as our special guest. No extenuating circumstances, hopefully are not involved. But we're going to ask him a lot about the Mandalorian, so don't miss that one. But we appreciate everybody following, subscribing, liking us. And that was episode 59 with
Stephanie.
I thought you were Rebecca.
Damn it, Becky.
Yeah,
Jakey.
Sarah.
Tim.
and Lewis. Thanks for watching.
And Micah.
And Becky.
Yay!
With the good hair.
Hercules.
That's being saved right now.